Hey everyone, this is Jason the teacher, and today I want to talk to you about frequencies. There's a lot of people that are still having a hard time trying to put numbers with frequency and being able to make sense of the numbers. So what I did was I changed the numbers so I can make it an easier way to explain how this works. Now, let's just say I made a chart, which I did, showing the frequency vibration of the objects that we know of that exist in our universe. Now, so far what we know exists in the universe, what we know of, is that we have stars, we have black holes, we have planets, and we have moons that go around those planets, which we still don't know a lot about. Okay? And when you're talking dimensionally is the same thing. Here, let me say. Dimension, space-time configuration. Let me write that down. Dimension equals space, time, config. Space-time configuration. As I wrote it down here so that you could see it a little bit better. Alright, here, let me clear my desk. I want to show you. Show you here what I have. Okay, this makes it a lot easier for me to show you. Now, as you can see on the graph here, I wrote down the frequency vibration. I labeled them up to 4 because we only know of 4 objects in the universe that form some sort of an orb or a sphere of information. Now, beings live on all frequencies, okay? What we don't know is at what beings are living at what frequencies, and that's what we want to find out. But for now, I want to show you how to explain how the vibrational system works with this graph that I got here. The moon being the lowest vibration that we know of. That's where a lot of our old ideas are at, sexual tendencies and things that are of the root chakra and below. Now, Earth would have to do with our root chakra and above. We live in the middle. I would say that this was 3D, but actuality it is like the second dimension, because we've just hopped from our old ways as a child up into adulthood where we become better people, and then later on in life when we pass away we move to the sun, which is basically the heaven of the solar system. Now, there are beings that live on the sun. Okay, sometimes you can see them in our dimension and they show up as shadowy figures that are walking around the sun. I know that a lot of people have been posting videos on YouTube about that, and that's what got me to understand that there are beings that live on all orbs in our solar system, and it has to do with the frequency. Now, Earth isn't the only planet in our solar system. We have Jupiter, which is a lot bigger. Now, I want you to understand that the size doesn't really correlate with the size of anything. Can be any size. Size doesn't matter. What it looks like matters. Now, when you look at something and you can tell that it's vibrating at a higher frequency or a lower frequency, we wouldn't know the difference because they are at totally different frequencies to begin with, and it would be hard just to track a number down to figure out what the exact frequency that you have to vibrate at for life to exist where you are. Now, there are people that were walking around Jupiter. There's people that walk around on Venus, and there's people that walk around on Mars, and as well as the other planets in the solar system. But the thing is, they vibrate between 1.5 and 2.5 frequency range. Okay? Now, these numbers don't have any position except for allocating organizational basis for the information that we've gathered. So we know that the moon vibrates at a lower frequency than we do. Now, what's the next step up? The sun vibrates at a higher frequency than the planets do, and the moon. So, people walking around on the sun are looking at Earth right now. They don't see us walking around on Earth because they are on the sun. They haven't come to visit. You actually have to go and visit the place for their life to be there waiting for you. So when you go and travel to another planet, you're actually hopping frequencies. You're hopping from one frequency to the other. See, what the government is trying to hide is that when they went to the moon, they didn't know that there was life on the moon because we can't see it from here where we at. The vibration looks different from one location versus the other. That's why it's about perspective. Where we stand on Earth, we all see the same thing. It's because everyone is standing on the same frequency as each other. That's why we share the reality that we live in. Now, when we look at the moon, we don't see people walking around the moon. We don't see bases, but there are bases on the moon that are ancient, but they are vibrating at a different frequency where it is actually happening now. So when they went to visit the moon, they got scared and came back, but then made deals with them, extraterrestrial beings or whatever. I don't know who they are yet. They say that they're the Greys, sometimes they're reptilians, sometimes they're something. I keep getting different information for it. So we don't really know what's on the moon because we've been told so many lies through our government. And notice that the moon kind of looks like the same as the black hole. So I'm wondering if I were to hop onto the sun and then go from there to travel through the black hole, the Milky Way, would I appear in another galaxy, or would I be able to choose what galaxy I want to go to, and then it would teleport me there, back to the planetary system of the galaxy? Now, to this black hole could be another star inside where people meet at, okay? All the energy is going towards this point because it's actually a gateway. Just like everything else in the universe is a gateway. It ties in kind of like the internet. It's kind of like the internet. So the sun, people on the sun looking at us, think that we look like the moon. You understand? So they don't see us on the planet unless they come to visit and incarnate. They think life is being sent through solar charges and solar flares and things like that. But when that happens, it's usually sending a lot of people into the earth, in the center of the earth, and then to be able to grow from inside the pain area up into the more enjoyable side, which is the top side. And then you got people living there. Now, it's the same thing for everything else. You have to travel to the center and then back out. That's what vibration is about, is moving up and down the scale. So people on the sun might not even see the moon at all. It might not even be there. To the sun, it's actually probably just a molecule in space. Probably an air molecule or something. We wouldn't know. And also, whenever you hop from planet to planet, the size of your body changes according to the size of the planet. So Earth is actually the perfect size where we're living at now for us to be comfortable with the gravity and be able to move around and do things on our own. It's the same thing with the sun. The gravity is much higher, so you would have to be a larger being to be able to walk around the surface of the sun. Okay? Now, the moon we don't really know much about. We don't know enough about the moon for everybody to share their wisdom on. This is just a minor opinion. I think that the moon is actually just a satellite base. Maybe it came from somewhere else. We don't know. I've read some articles where the moon actually wasn't there whenever the Earth was created. That all the moons that are around the planets are actually bases for extraterrestrials to monitor the growth of life on Earth. which is strange because when we send our technology to the moon to take pictures of the Earth, we're only going to see our frequency. And it's in our frequency range. And what they don't want us doing is doing that because it messes up the system of the planets, and it kind of cancels out the whole theory that the vibrational existence changes whenever you move from one orb to another. Now, we're trying to control the technology to where we can figure out how can we hop through frequencies when it's like saying I'm going to take a piece of technology, a camera. I have a camera that's in the second grade frequency. Now, if I take that same camera and bring it over here to take a picture of the moon, I still have that veil around there saying that I'm a second dimensional being visiting the first dimension. Which is why you can't really see anything on the moon whenever the signal goes back to the Earth. Okay? You can't use technology of your dimension to go explore other planets because the technology isn't upgraded to the same, it hasn't been converted down to the same vibration as the other place that you went to visit. So what we would have to do is figure out a way to have our technology automatically update with the software so that we could be able to see other beings walking around on the moon and see other beings walking around on the sun, and vice versa. And then we would be able to figure out if we upgrade our technology. Say I got a 3D camera. I have a 3D camera that's able to see people walking around on the sun. Now, if you bring that 3D camera back to Earth, if you bring it back down to Earth, well, are we going to be able to see the footage whenever we play the camera on our frequency level? Would the information be too great for us to understand what is going on the sun? What is really going on the sun? These things that we don't know, we need to find out. And that's what I'm trying to do, is try to get people to get on their feet and actually start thinking on a more, not just spiritual basis, but we're talking about dimensions, space-time configurations, and along with that, the frequency and vibrations that coalesce with our perception of reality, so it can work together, so we can all share the information and be able to see each other again. It seems like a big order with all this technology that we don't have when they have this technology. They have the ability to take a pair of sunglasses, okay? They could take a pair of sunglasses and the lenses would be electrically charged with a unit on the side of the, you know, the little earpieces that come out the side that go around your ear. They could take the technology to convert 2D into 3D. Now, I'm not talking about 3D that we live in. We're actually fourth dimensional beings observing a 3D reality from the sun by using the sun, because the sun is using fourth dimensional light coming from the Milky Way. It's vibrating back here and then it's condensing down whenever it comes back onto the moon, projects onto the moon. The moon holds all our information. Black hole is where we get the information. Even though it's pulling energy in, it has all the source knowledge combined in that black hole. And we call it a hole because it is a hole that takes matter and projects it into a new area of space, which it would be a white hole when you think about it, because then it's actually projecting energy out. As things are going in, things are going out. X-rays are coming out. That would be the white hole effect of the black hole. It's not just sucking in matter, it's ejecting energy. As it's sucking matter in, it's taking energy and pulsating energy out. So it's converting it into, it's taking matter, it's like saving matter onto a little memory chip, and then whenever the memory chip is accessed, it can project the information back out so you can see it. That's basically what a black hole does. It takes all the information, the matter, concrete matter, and then projects it as a light onto other matter that's outside in the other universe or the other galaxy, and other galaxies. So this black hole right here, you got the whole mess of the black hole, right, is actually the sun to the Milky Way galaxy, which, you know, all these stars in the galaxy, to the black hole person that's standing in the black hole is looking at these planets on a fourth dimensional, well, it's actually, when you go to the black hole in the fourth dimension, you're actually become 5-dimensional, viewing the galaxy as all the stars look like planets to you. They look like planets. So you have millions and millions of these planets going around the galaxy, and all these planets have these stars. See, these lower vibration rational moons. They're a lower vibrational moon. So, and the stars would be a high vibrational planet, because these beings walking around the star are looking at the Milky Way center as a source of light, or a source of information that comes in, maybe in the form of light, maybe in another form that we cannot perceive. So it's very important to us to figure out these things and to see what it is that's making up our universe. I've heard of this drug called DMT, and I know somebody that can get DMT, and I'm willing to try it out to see if I can get a psychedelic experience from it, and hopefully I'll be able to come out with some information that I'll present to you, because I have never done DMT, and I hear it's a very interesting experience. I hear it's a very, very interesting experience. And some of my friends, you know, they recommend me if I do it not to do it by myself and make sure that I'm being observed by a friend when I do it, so that when I come to, then I remember who I am and what my purpose is when I come back. Because I hear that when you go out on DMT, that you're actually transferring your consciousness into a totally different state of being, and the memory it takes to get you back to where you are for it to be like a non-lethal drug is actually non-lethal drug. It's the gateway to the spirit world is what I hear. So I want to figure out where it'll take me, and hopefully through that experiment I will gain some knowledge that I'll be able to share with everybody, since I'm very, very good at retrieving information and bringing it back. But anyways, that's the end of the clip. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you later in my next video. Namaste and Lak'ech. I love you guys. I love you, ladies and gentlemen. And namaste, Lak'ech. Like I said before, remember now, don't be mean. Play nice.